when by sensations of delight or pain, that any of our faculties hath seized, entire the soul collects herself, it seems she is intent upon that power alone, and thus the error is dispraved which holds the soul not singly lighted in the breast. And therefore when is aught is heard or seen, that firmly keeps the soul toward it turned, time passes, and a man perceives it not. For that, whereby he hearken, is one power, another that, which the whole spirit hash, this is as it were bound, while that is free. This found I true by proof, hearing that spirit in wondering, for full 50 steps aloft the sun had measured unobserved of me, when we arrived where all with one accord the spirit shouted, Here is what ye ask. A larger aperture ofttimes is stopped with forked stake of thorn by villager, when the ripe grape imbrowns, than was the path, by which my guide, and I behind him close, ascended solitary, when that troop departing left us. On Sanlio's road who journeys, or Denali low descends, or mounts Bismantua's height, must use his feet, but here a man had need to fly, I mean with the swift wing and plumes of high desire, conducted by his aid, who gave me hope, and with light furnished to direct my way. We through the broken rock ascended, close pent on each side, while underneath the ground asked help of hands and feet. When we arrived near on the highest ridge of the steep bank, where the plain level opened, I exclaimed, O master! Say which way can we proceed? He answered, Let no step of thine recede. Behind me gain the mountain, till to us some practiced guide appear. That eminence was lofty that no eye might reach its point, and the side proudly rising, more than line from the mid-quadrant to the center drawn. I wearied thus began, Parent beloved! Turn, and behold how I remain alone, if thou stay not. My son! He straight replied, Thus far put forth thy strength, and to a track pointed, that, on this side projecting, round circles the hill. His words so spurred me on, that I behind him clambering, forked myself, till my feet pressed the circuit plain beneath. There both together seated, turned we round to eastward, whence was our ascent, and oft many beside have with delight looked back. First on the nether shores I turned my eyes, then raised them to the sun, and wondering marked that from the left it smote us. Soon perceived that poet sage now at the car of Lightum as I stood, where twixt us and the north its course it entered. Whence he thus to me, were lead his offspring now in company of that broad mirror, that high up and low imparts his light beneath, thou mightst behold the ruddy zodiac nearer to the bear's wheel, if its ancient course it not forsook. How that may be if thou wouldst think, within pondering, imagine shone with this mount plaqued on the earth, so that to both be one horizon, and two hemispheres apart, where lies the path that Phaeton ill knew to guide his erring chariot, thou wilt see how of necessity by this on one he passes, while by that on the other side, if with clear view shine intellect attend. Of truth, kind teacher! I exclaimed, so clear aught saw I never, as I now discern where seemed my ken to fail, that the mid-orb of the supernal motion, which in terms of art is called the equator, and remains ever between the sun and winter, for the cause thou hast assigned, from hence toward the north departs, when those who in the Hebrew land inhabit, see it towardius the warmer part. But if it please thee, I would gladly know, how far we have to journey, for the hill mounts higher, than this sight of mine can mount. He thus to me, such is this steep ascent, that it is ever difficult at first, but, more a man proceeds, less evil grows. When pleasant it shall seem to thee, so much that upward going shall be easy to thee. As in a vessel to go down the tide, then of this path thou wilt have reached the end. There hope to rest thee from thy toil. No more I answer, and thus far for certain know. As he his words had spoken, near to us a voice there sounded, Yet ye first perchance may to repose you by constraint be led. At sound thereof each turned, and on the left a huge stone we beheld, of which nor I nor he before was ware. Thither we drew, find there were some, who in the shady place behind the rock were standing, as a man through idleness might stand. Among them one, who seemed to me much wearied, sat him down, and with his arms did fold his knees about, holding his face between them downward bent. Sweet sir! I cried, behold that man, who shows himself more idle, than if laziness were sister to him. Straight he turned to us, and, o'er the thigh lifting his face, observed, then in these accents spake, Up then, proceed thou valiant one. Straight who it was I knew, nor could the pain I felt, for want of breath still somewhat urged me, hinder my approach. And when I came to him, he scarce his head uplifted, saying, Well hast thou discerned, how from the left the sun his chariot leads. His lazy accent broke in words my lips to laughter somewhat emovied, when I began, Belacqua, now for thee I grieve no more. But tell, why thou art seated upright there? Waitest thou escort to conduct thee hence? Or blame I only shine accustomed ways? Then he, my brother, of what use to mount, when to my suffering would not let me pass the bird of God, who at the portal sits? Behoves so long that he then first bear me round without its limits, as in life it bore, because I to the end repentance sighs delayed, if prayer do not aid me first, that riseth up from heart which lives in grace. What other kind avails, not heard in heaven? Before me now the poet up the mount ascending, cried, Haste thee, for see the sun has touched the point meridian, and the night now covers with her foot Morocco's shore.